I'm filming this March 22nd, which means the end of March is closing in and the first quarter is about to wrap up. And I think I have a pretty good direction as to where I'm going with my goals. But if you're like me with your goals, or I guess pretty much anything, then you are probably feeling a little overwhelmed. So I had this idea that if I put some of my goals into a syllabus setup slash structure, then I could probably get them done quicker and not feel quite as overwhelmed. So I think that is what I'm going to do. I had this idea earlier that maybe if I made a syllabus with four, courses, quote, then maybe I can see some progress because I feel like it's kind of scattered. So I need to structure it a little bit more. And I think doing this will probably help me not feel so overwhelmed and help me structure it in a way that I get things done and I can see my completion and all of those things. So I am going to be showing you my Notion setup. I did prep it a little bit because I don't want to record myself thinking or doing nothing for, an hour or two and not having anything to show for it and then having to edit all of that out. So I did start a prep foundation for my template and I'm going to show you how I build the rest of it. I did draw inspiration from a couple of templates that I will leave linked below. I'm pretty sure they're free. I didn't see a price on them, so if you want to download them for free, then you should be able to. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like they are free. And then I also looked up Xtiles templates just to get an idea from those. And that's pretty much how I got the idea for the setup of this particular Notion template that I'm creating. I didn't watch any YouTube videos this time or anything like that. I just kind of, when it comes to school, I'm very particular on how I set it up and how it is structured and set up because I just have a certain flow that I have in mind that I need to feel not so overwhelmed and not so cluttered maybe. So yeah, I have a very particular way on how I personally like to create my templates for school in particular. So I'm drawing inspiration from some things that I'm seeing, some templates, and just creating it based on that. I also want to keep it pretty simple. I don't want to spend hours and hours creating, these, what is it called? Formulas. So I'm just going to keep it as simple as I can. But yeah, without further ado, I am going to show you my Notion setup. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I chose a blue icon that was school kind of related. And I stuck with blue because that is the color of that particular life pillar. And I went for a cover photo that was not too obviously school, like books, apples, chalkboards, things of that nature. I wanted something a little bit different. So I opted for this one. It says, "What is your story?" which correlates with a few of my subjects slash courses. And then I don't know if you can tell, but on the left-hand side, on the top corner, almost there, in the, I don't know, it's not a reflection, but it's on the inside and it says "Good Vibes Only." So I really liked that. So I chose that for my cover photo. And this is what I have for my setup so far. So I just called it DIY Education Curriculum. And then I put the semester up here. I could probably highlight that. Let me see. And that way it's kind of more in my view. And then this is a call out box, and I just put my courses that I named Personally, it's not too creative, but it does the trick. And yeah, I don't really want to think up something unusually, uniquely creative. I just kind of wanted to get to the point so that way I can go ahead and start. So these are my courses, and then I color coded each course, as you can see there. And then on the right side, I have a calendar with my main database on this. Normally, I like these to be full length because I just like the full length view. I don't really like anything next to the calendar because it minimizes it a little too much for me. But I just kind of like the look of this overall. So hopefully it won't bother me too much. Okay, so then I have this candle over here, and that was inspired by one of the templates that I have linked below. And then below here on an Xtiles, I actually saw this and it reminded me of the flip clock. So I went on Indify and I downloaded, created/downloaded this flip clock and added it to this template. I love how it turned out. And then it has the date underneath. You can personalize it a little bit, so you don't have to have the date underneath. You can add seconds also if you want. I didn't want to see the seconds rolling every second, literally, so I didn't do that. But yeah, and then I have this weekly checklist call out box. I'm thinking I'm going to change this though. I think I might change this to more of a priority box, but we'll see. I saw this on one of the templates, but I doubt I'm going to use this because I think my, weekly checklist quote is going to be more focused under these headings and in these databases. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to really get much use of that. I might turn it into a priority box. Or something else. I'm not real sure yet. But the first heading I have here is courses. And as you can see, I have my four subjects: reading, creative writing, essay writing, which I'm doing as a sort of optional, I think. I will try to work on it, but I'm putting these 3 as priority and these 2 in particular at the very top priority. So those are my courses, and I think I'm going to add a cover photo to all 4 of these courses so that way I can see a visual of 4. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, so this is what I came up with for the visual of each course. I did rearrange the time in the weekly checklist. I moved it down just a little bit. So that's what it is now looking like. And I moved this over in another column so that way I could see all 4 like this instead of in one row. I like this a little better. Not sure why, I just like it better. Okay, and then I've got materials, kinesthetics, and notes. So the materials database/section is going to encompass all of the materials that I need to cover and all of the readings I need to read. So I will have to input that for each course. So let's do an example. Okay, so I need to do, or I already have started section 1.1 in the math textbook. So I'll put whatever name the textbook is here. Math, it's algebra. Do you remember that? Okay, and then it's math for the course. Don't think database applies, so I need to actually hide this. I had to put some properties in there so that I could filter out certain pages for specific databases because I needed maybe some for this database, but not for this database. As you can see, this is popping up because it's in the same exact database. So actually let me put neither. And then it should disappear from here, and it's not because I need to add a filter. Database is, okay, it's both of those. Actually, it's gallery. Okay, so that should work. And then for the calendar, it looks like it's not popping up on the calendar. Okay. Okay, and then I may or may not add an icon. We shall see. The easiest way to do that would be to create a template, add the icon on the template, and then simply click the template so that way the icon pops up automatically and I don't have to manually do it every time. And then we have the date. I probably need to rename that to maybe, I don't know if I want to do the due date, because I will probably set this to, like, it'll cover several days. So yeah, I don't know. I'll figure that out later. Okay, and then type materials because it's something that I am reading. And then I need to add a filter onto this. Type, and this is kinesthetics. And I need to add type and materials for this, so that way that filters out. Notes is its own database, so I don't have to worry about that. Then we need to add, I actually need to hide all of these. Don't need that. That's just for the gallery view. Database. New page. Neither. Okay. Now, I'll put as an example section 1.1 chapter assignments. So whatever's at the end. This is for the math course. And then I feel like I should probably put, I don't know, should I put the course there or there? I'm thinking there. And then database can be hidden. And that can be over here. I'm basically doing that for separation purposes. Okay. And then for materials, I will add a files and media. And that way I can add URLs and something else like PDFs in this. So I may have a video that I found on YouTube or wherever, and it matches what I'm studying for section 1.1. And then I'm going to put in this, I'm going to put whatever title the section is called. And yeah, so I'm going to do that, but I don't know what it is offhand. So then I'm going to find, let's say it's exponents. I will put a video link URL and paste it here. And that way, if I want to refer back to the video, I can. So I'm going to do that. And for kinesthetics, not much to really put for this one. I do need to add a checkbox, so that way when it's complete, I can check that off. Where's the checkbox? If I can find it. There it is. Okay. I'll just put done for now. All right, and then these are my notes. So I just put as an example, section 1, essay writing. Don't really need to fill any of these out. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with tags yet. Maybe not anything. So I probably need, oh yeah, I have course. Okay, so I'll put whatever properties I see fit that I need to add. If I need to add any more to separate everything, I think course is going to separate it pretty well though. And then I'll probably add different views for different courses. So I'll have each course up here. And then my notes, that's probably going to be more for reading. Well, no, that's going to be for creative writing and essay writing. For the reading, I already have another space where I'm putting my notes if I'm taking any. And then for math, math is going to be math. So that's not really something I can put in here. It's something that I have to do on my iPad or a dry erase board or something like that. But math probably will most likely not be in the notes section, I would think. But yeah, that's pretty much how I'm doing the basic layout. And then when I click into the course, so far I've added objectives. So I think I'm going to have to probably separate this into sections and or chapters for the math because there's a lot to cover and I want to be able to know the objectives, and that way it'll help me study the chapters and help me remember / know what I need to not memorize but learn from each chapter. So yeah, and then the assignments list, I have a call out box for that. I'm thinking I'm going to put each in a list form and then just check it off as I go. So for instance, section 1.1, and then I would actually turn this into a to-do list first. Move it into the call box. And there you go. And then when it's done, I just check it off. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll also have a checklist for materials and kinesthetics also. So I may or may not use this. It was just an idea. I got it from, did I get it from one of the templates? Actually, I don't think I did. I don't think I got this idea. There was a template that had some stuff in this sort of database look, but it wasn't an assignments list. It was other things. But objectives, I think, are really important if you are going to school also, just because it will help you focus on what you are trying to learn or what the professor or teacher wants you to know. For whatever reason, I was having some difficulties filming, and so it cut off, I think. But anyway, this is about a month later. I know it's a little bit long. I anticipated filming this much earlier, but here we are. I got a little busy with life. So anyway, I finished my goal of completing the aesthetics and functionality of the DIY education curriculum Notion template page. So this is the final product that I'm staying with, I believe. So I think I showed you pretty much all of this. And then these are the courses and the coordinating color coding system that I'm using. And then I filled in this little calendar database, and I incorporated multiple tabs to see different views. This is the reading view as an example. And so yeah, these are my courses. This is the clock. And then I did change the weekly checklist. I took that out and I changed it to priorities, and I color coded the priorities. So lots of color coding in this template. And I added a quote also. Done is better than perfect. I heard that somewhere or saw it online, and I really liked that because I can get a little too into details and want everything to be perfect, especially when I'm taking notes. So I have to remind myself that done is better than perfect. As long as I get the notes down, it doesn't matter if I scribbled out a letter or something like that, So I have to remind myself of that so that way I keep moving forward. I really do like that quote. I think this is who originally said it. I don't know. That's what I saw online, so I went with it. And these are my courses. I did add, and I'll show reading as an example. I think it was center peak before, but I changed it to the side peak. And I haven't added the objectives yet. I did for math, and I actually did that not on Notion. I did it on my iPad. But I added the assignments list for all of the books that I'm reading. So this is what it looks like. I actually am reading 2 more books, but yeah, just kind of showing you what it does look like. And I am checking them off. I actually need to check off chapter 17 because I finished reading that today. I'm on chapter 18, so I am moving forward pretty quickly. I'm really pumped and excited, so I want to keep the momentum going. I need to finish filming this so I can get back to my progress. But that is what that looks like. And then I have pretty much the same thing on the other 3 courses if you click on it, just different assignments for each one. Let me see what essay writing. What did I have under that one? Okay, yeah, watch at least 2 YouTube videos, 1 video on history, another on English essay writing, read UNC Chapel Hill links, which I have in, I believe, materials, which is right here. And I am 43.75% complete on all reading. So this is all of the reading that I have to do. I somehow started reading a lot of dense books all at one time. I'm in the middle of 4 fairly dense books, I would say. So I need to not do that to myself. But anyway, there's that. And this percent check finish is not going away. Sorry about that. So that is where I'm at for reading, 0.617%. I'm actually a little bit further in this, but I stopped and I'm actually redoing my math notes on paper and not my iPad. And then essay writing, I have not started yet. Creative writing, I did do, I finished 1K words for April, but I haven't watched a video or anything like that, so I need to do that. I haven't done any kinesthetics yet. I guess writing would be kinesthetics. I'm not real sure. And that probably doesn't need to be under materials. I'm not sure how to filter that. I'll have to figure that out. Anyway, so yes, and then nothing under notes yet. But that's what it looks like. And then this is the overall view. So I am also in the middle of the Metamorphosis, which is a reading challenge I started. I always start things and I do finish them. It just takes me a while. But yeah, so I included focus dates. That's what I called it. And then I added a start and end date in the same property. And it looks like that. But yep, that is what my setup looks like. It's going pretty good. And I may give you updates on my Instagram if you are interested. You can check that out. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And I set May 31 for the end date for this quote semester, but I think I might change that to December because I don't want to stress myself out trying to get everything done. I feel like that's counterproductive because the whole purpose of this is to be motivating and not discouraging. So I'm probably going to change that. If I get everything done earlier than December, wonderful. But if I don't, then I don't have till December. So, yep, that's my overall Notion template that I designed myself with some inspiration, of course. I will leave those links below. And I did double check, those Notion templates are free. So you can get those for free. I will leave them linked. And then the Xtiles one, I think you can get that one for free. I'm not 100% sure. I downloaded the Notion templates just to see if it was free and make sure, and they are. But I don't think I downloaded the Xtiles template to see. So you might want to just double check. If you clicked on this video, you more than likely are using Notion and not Xtiles, but Xtiles would also be a good option too. I just prefer Notion for note taking because I really like the filter and I like that you can minimize everything. Whereas Xtiles, it seems like everything is there and you can't toggle anything away or filter anything away. So it's just one big sheet. So I prefer Notion for the notes. But yeah, that's all I have. I hope this gave you some inspiration on creating your own curriculum Notion template. And if you don't want to, don't have the time, whatever the case may be, you can always download the free ones. And yeah, I will leave you with that.